All right, seriously, why are we still talking about this stuff? Basic creatine, it's safe, it's cheap, it's easy to take, and it's effective. Basically, case closed, throw it in your morning smoothie, and move on with your life. Which is why I almost didn't listen to a recent podcast with Eric Trexler. It came out with Dr. Mike, and they were basically talking about creatine. I'm like, why would I even bother with this sort of thing? But nevertheless, there were some really interesting perspectives and takeaways that I got from that episode that I wanted to share with you today. The first of which, of course, is just being more aware of the fact that social media and the internet has that tendency to make little tiny itty bitty little things and facts into this massive, monstrous, mutated thing for both good and bad. So a lot of the reason why we keep having so much talk and discussion about this is because for the most part, everything that there is to know about this, from as far as potential side effects to benefits, are pretty much trivial to non-existent. But of course, the marketing of the internet is all doom and gloom or completely life-changing utopian, which is probably not going to be the case. The second thing to note is when they were talking about the cognitive abilities and stuff with this, is they were talking about how it's not really about making things good, but bad things slightly less bad, about how a lot of the research about using creatine with cognitive ability was done on individuals who were suffering some sort of a mental hiccup. And it wasn't like you give creatine to a normal, healthy individual with good mental health and stuff, that it suddenly gives them clairvoyance and they can become limitless and stuff. So that's the big takeaway with just how supplements work in general, is that anything that is even slightly effective in the supplement world generally doesn't bring you any benefits. It just decreases the detriments that you may have if you're not getting enough protein, if you're not getting enough sleep and stuff. It's not going to make anything good. It just makes things that are bad slightly less bad. And it's probably going to be more effective to address lifestyle, diet, and exercise habits to actually make it good in the first place. And the third thing, and I love this perspective that Eric brought about, is creatine is one of the best supplements out there, most effective supplements out there, which is kind of like saying you're the world's fastest turtle. You're not a big winner with this one. You're basically standing out in a massive field of, well, let's just say worthless products. So it doesn't take a whole lot to become the best in a category of losers. So in general, yeah, it certainly can work. And I've been asked, Matt, do you take it? Yes. Do you feel like it works for you? Honestly, not really, no. And there's several reasons for this. The first of which is I just don't work all that hard and that often with my double tap training. I'll get 2 to 4 sets for a muscle group in a given workout. So I'm not really depleting my creatine stores in my muscles all that much. So when you're not really depleting yourself a lot, supplementation's not going to do a whole heck of a lot for you, which they brought up an interesting perspective there too. They're a lot of people will take creatine and not really get much benefit from it. And that's actually a very good thing, because that means that you already have the benefits without needing it. And as Eric talked about, he's basically you have a lifetime supply of free creatine that your body just naturally, of course, everybody resynthesizes creatine in their system. You're always going to replenish it without anything. This stuff just helps you replenish it a little bit faster. So if you take it and you find you don't get much benefit from it, that means you're already winning without it and you're ahead of the game. But the most important takeaway is the perspective on what supplements actually do give us. Because by and large, the vast majority of them don't do any good for us at all physiologically, but they can bring us a lot of benefit mentally and even emotionally. I can definitely say that this has not really done a whole lot for me physically. Maybe in, a couple of workouts, I get 12 reps where I would have gotten 11 reps without it, or 10. And that's generally the type of response that most people are going to have with creatine, is you get a little tiny bump up of performance. And over time, that can be a good thing. But that's not why we take this stuff. The vitamin pills and the protein powders and stuff, by and large, are not going to bring you any benefit physically. But I still do this on a daily basis. Why? Because it makes me feel good when I take it. I feel like I'm shoring up my bets. It's a little bit of an insurance policy to be like, yeah, there's probably not much benefit, but just in case, just on the off chance, it can help me get an extra rep or break a PR and feel good about myself in a given workout. Yeah, it's worth it. Because, this whole tub will last me to the end of the year easily. And it was like $15 and stuff. So it's like, yeah, low cost, doesn't need a whole lot of return. But just the fact that it makes us feel good by taking it, that's the biggest benefit that most supplements will ever provide for us. And if that's all you get out of it, then in many cases, it's still worth it. So of course, I've got links down below to my favorite creatine that you should put. No, I'm just kidding. I never shill this kind of stuff because it's just go to the store, get the regular stuff. Creatine monohydrate doesn't need to be any fancy or complicated and expensive and branded and all that sort of thing. Just get the normal stuff. It's fine if you want to try it. And if you don't get a benefit or you don't want to try it, don't worry. You're not really going to be missing out anyway. It's always up to you, and make your own call. So hope that gives you a little more perspective as it did for me. I'll try to link down below to the podcast if I find it as well. Be fit and live free.